Welcome to another edition of Here Connection. We're your host,
Egunbumi.
and I am Regina.
Today's episode is brought to you by Ataraxis, a place of unity, peace, and growth. Today's topic is rebuilding the Royal Ebony Standard.
Today we're going to talk about not just what happened in the past that broke the standard down, that we're going to talk about things that we can do as a collective to rebuild that standard and keep that standard on. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I think, the segregation, have broken down our standards, because when we were segregated, and I'm not saying, oh, segregation was a good thing or a bad thing. What I'm saying is it was a bad thing for our people. And the
Mm,
reason why it was a bad thing for our people is when we took out, when we allowed segregation to go, we have also allowed our ownership to go. We also allow us having hospitals to go, our own house that we own. Majority of our business, our home that we own to go. We also allowed the black dollar to go. We also
mm,
allowed our education and how we educated our children to go. So when I say, that we do need segregation as far as because it's not and it's crazy when we say, our people, our rural Ebony people need segregation that we, they will like they'll say, oh, you're being racist. But if you look at every other race, they are they are segregated still with certain parts of their lives. And if you look at it in their community, they only allow you in but so much. And but
mm.
in the rural Ebony community, in the Nubian community, we allow everybody in the whole way. Like they can walk in your house, they can go in every single room, they can they can go in your basement, your backyard, your upstairs, your bathroom. But when you go into their culture's house, you're only allowed in the front room,
That's true.
the front room and the door.
That's it.
But yeah, they can go into your house and
Hmm.
they can go and tell you how to raise your children.
Hmm.
They can go and take all this away and say, all right, you need assistance. But in order to get assistance, we need your bank account. So we got to know that you ain't making enough. Do you get what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Exactly.
Don't stop there. You can't have a man in your house.
Sure cannot.
Oh, don't stop there. But yet we pushing family. How are you pushing family? But you're telling them that they can't have a particular person. You trying to tell me a couple can't be broke? That's a
Mm.
false narrative because
Right.
there's a lot of broke couples out
That is
there.
true.
If you is then you gotta understand that they don't really want you to build because when you build, you thrive. And if they have you still wingering on their system, meaning, hey, you know, your kids going to public school where we funding and they don't really have a athlete, system or an education system. You just getting the bare minimum. And then you say,
Mm.
well, why aren't these kids being educated correctly? Because no money is going into those schools.
Right.
These schools, their money is going to the schools that already have money, to the
Right.
family that already have money. So is that being fair to your children? No, it's not. My thing
Mm.
about it is we need to get out of their system because they
Hmm.
control all that. Every
Right.
situation that they control, they got their foot on your neck. And you're allowing it. You're trying so much to change that system where they got their foot on your neck, then rather just say, you know what, let's homeschool. Because to be honest with you, I'm just going to be honest. How many fathers out there that don't have a job? A lot, right? A lot of black
Right.
fathers out there they're not working. Cool. So how we use it, and there's a lot of black mothers out there that's not working. You know what I'm saying? How we use that for our benefit is we create a homeschool system because when you homeschool children nowadays, they graduate before the kids that's in their grade. So we
That is
can
true.
create a homeschool narrative that builds up our own school. And that would be our education system. That's how you rebuild. You don't need them. If you have a man that's not working, guess what? Yo, what you're gonna do is volunteer your time. Have
Mm,
a woman that's not working, volunteer your time to help our community. And we sit over here and we hope we create a homeschool system where our children are homeschooled, right, with each other, and in turn is creating school. This is creating
mm-hmm.
our schools and controlling our narrative. Where you're not teaching Black history only once a month. You're teaching Black history every day. Where you're not forcing these Nubian uh, princes and princesses to stand up to honor a flag that don't care about them, that don't
Represent us.
represent them, that don't
Mm-hmm.
love them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You telling them to pledge allegiance to keep your job. How are you gonna tell
Right.
a kid to pledge allegiance to something? You get what I'm saying? And so we need to sit up here and return our narrative. And the reason why we haven't done it yet is because I fear complicity for people that sit up there, they're complacent to where they are in their life. And they like, well, I don't want you to take this away. But guess what? They've taken everything away from you. They're controlling
Anyhow.
every aspect of your life. Every aspect
Exactly.
controlling. But yet you're so afraid of keeping like getting your crumbs taken away to build to bake a loaf of bread. Let them take away your crumbs so you can bake a loaf of bread. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? And that way, that the community, the Nubian community, we can sit over here and we can actually bake and build on them by working together. By saying, yo, let's take our kids from these public schools because these public schools ain't teaching our kids. They're not teaching
nothing.
them nothing, but
No, they're
they're
not.
judging them and then saying, well, your child, they got a learning disability.
No,
No,
they don't.
they just you suck as a teacher because
Yes.
guess what? When it's crazy, if people don't realize that this COVID thing is a blessing in disguise, they crazy
Mm,
because it's things that I found out when I sit over here. I found out that the children that were struggling, that be struggling, most of the children that struggled in school, when in 2020 when they was doing nothing but homeschool, they
mm-hmm.
thrived. Those
Yes, they
those
did.
children thrived, and their grades was going skyrocketing, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then the ones that needed school, the ones that honor roll students and stuff like that, when they was home, they struggled because they're so used to structure. And when you have children that it's more like rebate, they can just do their work when they can and go about their business, right? They don't have that pressure. And without that pressure, they can thrive. So we
Right.
need to sit up there and build that system where the ones that need structure, yes, we put them in a particular classroom to where they have structure, right? And they can thrive that way. And the ones that goes on mostly creative and and do things that way, we can build a classroom for people that need to be handled that way instead of trying to
Mm-hmm.
mix every and anybody up and saying you have to learn this way. You know what I mean? There's no winning in that system. Trying
It's
to
not.
form a child or even an adult to say you have to think this way, you have to move this way, and this is the standard that you need. You're not going to win or succeed in life that way. Look at how many people I ask people all the time, like, dude, are you happy? Yeah, I'm
Mm,
happy. So, all right, so you you are you would say that you're happy, but would you wish your life on your child? And they'd be like, hell no. So how the hell? Then that means you ain't
it's
happy.
not happy. It's not happy.
Because
Right.
if I'm happy, I'll say, yeah, I wish my life on my child, but I want more for them. But if you say hell no, that means you're not happy. You're just like content to say this is what life is, this is where it's going. And it should never
Mm-hmm.
be like, especially like in the black community. In the black community, we're so jacked up. We have women disrespecting the men. We have men disrespecting the women. Then we have both of them disrespecting the kids. Then we have our kids disrespecting the adults.
Us. Exactly.
Nowadays kids curse in front of grown people, and the grown people
Without
ain't
any
checking
issues.
them.
Mm-mm.
Right. So we have to rebuild that standard up to say, yo, this is what we need. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people out there that their first is, oh, and it's cool. It's cool to say, yo, we got the right to bear arms. That's cool. That's cool to say we got the right to bear arms. But the lack of education of
Mm.
putting in that's important.
Yes, it
Our
is.
our focus is educating and making our people knowledgeable. Not only making our people knowledgeable, our goal is to make, the financial base easier for
Mm-hmm.
our people. And if the
Mm-hmm.
ones that don't get it, like when we have people that's trying to push their narrative, when we have people talking about, critical race theory and all that, oh, we're not black, we're human. No, we're not human until they realize to respect us as people.
As
So I
individuals.
can't I can't right. I can't go and be like, oh, I support you saying that we're human. But yo,
Mm-mm.
I'm fighting, yo, we're all humans, but they're fighting, no, y'all black, we don't like
And the
you. Yo,
kind of
y'all
part about it
different, we
is
don't like
we're not even black. Black is a
you. Exactly.
color. Black does
Mhm.
not associate us with a land. And we have to, first of all, if we're going to rebuild, and I'm sorry, just to insert that, we have to divorce the word black. That is not a
Mhm.
description of you as a nationality. It's a description of your skin. It's very important for us to know what our nationality is so we can be associated with a land. And then once we
Right.
realize that, that's when we can expect them to start accepting us as humans.
Mhm.
And
It's a
that's really
lot of
how it's
things.
going to happen.
Right.
Mhm.
It's a lot of things we have to be honest. Like we need to divorce the fact that of calling each other black, because black and African Americans came from Caucasian. Let's be fact. They came from Caucasians calling us that, right?
Yes.
And then we
Yes.
adopting these words and trying to make them positive. No, we need to throw them in the trash. Then another thing that we need to sit up there and get rid of is we need to get rid of your last name that you're
Thank you.
pushing, that you're proud of, and you talk
Hmm.
about, no, my last name is Johnson, the Johnson family. Yeah, the Johnson
No, it's
family
not.
roots all the way back to your slave man.
To
It
the
roots all the way back
plantation.
up, yeah, to your plantation. Look up your history. Stop pushing the
Yes.
Johnson name. Stop pushing the name of the plantation owner. It's funny how you were forced to be called this name, and now you're proud of it. Now you sitting up there and you hold that name with pride, and you want to name your children that name. My thing about it is, if you don't know your family history, create your own name, start your own legacy. Because right now, whether you like it or not, you're still pushing the legacy and the standards of your slave master that that held and oppressed your own people. Then another
And
thing that you need to stop. Oh, go ahead.
you're
Go ahead.
creating a legacy for that plantation that's associated
Right.
with slave master's last
You're
name.
you're
So
not
Johnson,
creating. You're continuing.
correct. So that
Mm,
legacy that you think you're making for you and your family actually is not even yours. And that's why they still
mhm.
consider us property because we still carry their last name, the last names of the plantations that our descendants came from. That's something else to talk
Exactly.
about. But go ahead. Mhm.
Exactly. No, no, you 100% right. Because if they look up law, right? If they look at the
Mhm.
law, right? If they realize that law of the slave owner property, that they didn't take that law out of system. They didn't take that law out. Look up any state that you're in, especially in the South, you'll see that law is still there. And guess what?
Exactly.
Doesn't matter who you are. If you still hold a slave owner name, right? They could still
Hmm.
treat you like a slave. Yes, they're gonna be like, politics about it. But this is why, like, you have to be, let's put it like common sense ain't common, right?
No, it's not.
So,
It's not.
have you ever heard any city, any state that they ran into a middle class home of a Caucasian and accidentally shot anybody?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Absolutely not.
not.
You know why? Because then there will be prosecution. There will be, there'll be consequences for those acts.
Hmm.
Where you hear that they running in people's houses is low income places, right? And 99% of them is Nubian owned because they don't
Mm,
own, for one, they don't own them property. What I keep telling people is when you want to buy property, right, and you want to control the system, you cannot have and say, hey, well, I'm going to go and buy this house, and that's my property, because you have to look up what properties are. Property is land.
that's
Your
it.
house, your cars, anything that you fit in your house is called an asset. No matter
That's it.
how, if you're not educated enough to understand that these things are called assets, right?
Hmm.
You're going to
Talk
keep
about it.
saying to officers, get off my property. No, you don't own that. And
You
then
don't
when
own
you
the
sit up
land.
here and you're paying a mortgage or in whatever, your mortgage is nothing but paying rent to a bank. So
That's it.
when you sit up here and you say, well, I own all of this. No, you don't,
No, you
because
don't.
you only own that asset that you're buying. That's the only thing you're buying. You're not buying the land that your asset sits on. You're buying that actual asset of a house, of a building.
That's it.
So
That's
that's
it.
why when you need to call and get permission from the city to do a pool or to count or cut down the tree, or you gotta get permission from an HOA to do your roof. Like, come on, dude. That's not ownership. Ownership means you don't have to ask nobody else permission, it's yours.
For anything.
And I don't know why
Exactly.
people like to um confuse themselves and think that that is ownership. That's why, like I tell people, I say, yo, if you only have $5,000 saved up, why are you getting a $40,000 car? Because it's a down payment. Just because you can acquire it doesn't mean you
Does
need
not
to get
mean
it. If
buy
you can't
outright.
own it, right? If you
Buy
can't
outright.
own it, stop trying to get things you don't own to flex on other people that don't care.
Here's the
Like
thing.
you flexing on people
It,
that don't care. Go ahead.
and then you're putting this huge amount of money on this thing that's been lended to you because there was an exchange, miss a payment. And I don't care how much money you put on, they're coming to snatch that from you. Same thing for the house. Even though this is my house, but it's not. It belongs to the bank. Miss a payment, mix the tax and property taxes. That house is no longer yours. So it's just
Exactly.
like buy outright. When you buy outright, you create an asset.
Mhm.
If you're getting a
But
new
even
car, and I laugh at people that run out and get these new cars, and they think they're flexing on somebody, and for somebody like me, is laughing like, "Yo, you just went and got a bill.
Mhm.
You're in debt for $30,000, but I bought mine for 8,000, eighty six
Right,
hundred to be exact. I have an asset. You have a debt. I don't care what year it is. So it's just like when you start having that mentality, you can move differently, and that will help us to rebuild a standard in us because now we're more on ownership opposed to borrowing and paying a debt. It's a
right,
difference.
right.
Hmm.
And even if you know you are you are solo, and you're like, well, I don't know how. Build a community. Start being around people. Stop being around people that you are always given to. And that's one thing that that's our downfall in our community. We're so trying to be loyal to people that don't give to us. My thing about it is loyalty is earned. And how is it
Yes, it
earned?
is.
Meaning I can be around people that I know if I don't have nothing, it will make sure I have. I don't have to lift a voice to say, hey, I'm broke, because these people already know your situation. My thing about
Exactly.
it is like I tell people like going on dates, right? I would say I don't go on dates. And they be like, what do you mean? How do you get to know people? I sit down and I talk to them. Why do I
Hmm.
need to take you out to eat to get to know you? Why do I need to do all this? No, no, that's stupid. If I really want to get to know you, I'm going to sit you down. I'm going to tell you my standard. I'm going to tell you what I need. You're going to tell me what you need. You're going to tell me what you can offer. I tell you what I can offer. Then we'll figure it out. But if you want me to entertain and be like, hey, let's go out to dinner. Let's go to this. That's an investment. I can't invest in you.
At this
No,
point,
you're not mine. You get
and
what
I
I'm
need a
saying? Like, you're not
return.
mine. There's no
Right?
return in that.
I
You
need a
get what I'm saying?
return. This ain't the type of
After
advice man I
after
want.
after this date, if it don't go good, guess what? I just lost money. Some people will be like, well, it's good to lose money. No, it's not good to lose money. It's not good to lose no money, and it's not good to lose time.
Or
At the end
peace.
of the day, time, yeah, your peace. My thing is, when you talking, if I'm sitting over there, I don't care if it's my sibling, I don't care if it's my friend. If I'm talking about building something, yo, all right, yo, this ain't right. If I'm saying this ain't right, yo, this ain't right. Yo, we don't own nothing. And I'm around four other people that don't own anything. And the first thing I say, yo, let's put our money together so we can at least own a house or own something. And they like, nah, bro, I gotta go buy this car. Nah, bro, I gotta go get these Jordans. Nah, bro, I got. And I say, cool. And I would leave those people where they at and go about my business and build around with people
Respectfully.
that understand. And then when they say,
Exactly.
yo, you new, I'm not new. I outgrown you. Y'all comfortable being in that barrel. So a lot of people always say, oh, it's the crab in the barrel. Get the fuck out of the barrel. The only
Get
reason why
the,
you stand in those barrels is because you talk about, well, that's my family. Well, that's my friend. Guess what? If they want to stay there, let them stay there. Dude, because when you die, unless you dying in
come
a car
on.
accident, plane crash, or somebody blew up a house, right? You die alone.
You
Period.
dying alone.
So at the
You
end of
dying
the
alone.
day, if you're not about building, if you're not about growing, guess what? I love you. I need to love you from afar. And then guess what?
Exactly.
Don't become entitled to what I worked hard for by myself without your help. It's not my job to go to make it and then go back and then give to you. Because it's my
Yeah.
job to make it and say, hey, this is the way. And if you
Yeah.
ain't trying to put in no work to help me add on to that, then you stay over there. Because it's not my job to give to you. You can
See,
always
that's
give people fish, but your job is to teach people how to fish. I learned how to fish. Now let me teach others. Go ahead.
first thing I want to touch on is a community. You don't need a lot of people to build a community. You can start off with three people, two.
Is that
Actually, you're the first one because whatever you're doing and if it's effective, you're gonna have people that's gonna be watching you and going to want a part of that. That three
mm,
people can start the community because once again, when they see that you guys are operating as an oil machine, it's going to turn the heads of others and they're going to like the outcome. So they're going to all start coming to you. It doesn't take a lot of people to make a community. The second thing about that is, like you said, find like-minded people. Now you don't know. Now let's just be honest. A lot of people think they're like-minded, and then those when you find out that you guys don't have the same ideas, it's time to cut them off like a cancer. You got to go, and then you should concentrate on those people. And then another thing that you said too, you always say nuggets. The other thing that you said too was at the end of the day, when I'm building and I'm taking my time and my sweat and my research and my resources and I'm actually building and you're seeing that, that don't mean that you get to tag along because you share my last name. No, you got to come and do the same effort that I did in order to make this work. And I think
mm,
too, we don't have a lot of people that can shift from ownership, that can shift from being a worker to being an owner. And that's the problem because we have been conditioned to feel this way, not knowing that we come from descendants of entrepreneurs. This is what we did. Our school system wasn't built like that. Back in the day, the school system was to give them a skill.
mm,
Your majority of your studies was your skill, whether you were what was that called? When they bid medals, and whether you was making making leather, whether you was making food, whether you was making, we were all skilled based. Education as
Mhm.
far as math and whatnot was there, but that wasn't the major part of your studies. Your skill was. Why? Because they understood then you knew you had to learn how to make money in order to build your community. It
Right.
wasn't based on arithmetic and history. None of that was major concern for them. The major concern was I need to make sure that Joe is able to make XYZ in order to bring in money for the family for us to extend our business. That was the skill. That's what we need to go back to. We need to stop and we need to snatch our kids away from this system of education and get back to our old ways. If you don't know what that is,
System
that's why
of
you got to do
brainwash.
your research.
Right. It's
We're
a system of brainwash.
brainwashed.
Just so
We're
they can sit
brainwashed
over here and tell you that your kids, they're not up to their standard. Well, why would you want to be at their standard? Everybody know you can go in and be like, yo, I got a high school diploma. And they're gonna look at you and be like, yo, that ain't good. But yet you fighting for a high school diploma, right?
but you're
Why the
fighting for
hell
it.
did they take our trades out of our schools? You
Exactly.
know? Think about it.
Because it doesn't matter. It's not
You know what I mean?
important.
Right. But because the trades will always let you have a job. That
Mm-hmm.
will always get you a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when they take it
Mm-hmm.
out of the system, that damn diploma ain't shit. Hell, a lot of these degrees ain't shit.
It's a
People are
lot of people that
struggling.
go
They got
that's in
degrees,
debt.
right?
That's in debt. I had a family friend. He had just graduated with his master's and was working at Blockbusters,
Right.
Blockbusters as a
Be careful.
manager.
Be careful.
Bro, oh yeah, don't come for me.
Right.
Don't come for
So,
me. But that's what I'm saying. That even your college degree, a lot of you guys go to college and don't even work in your field,
right.
and you ain't got this all this education. But what you're gonna do with it? Now you're in debt, and that's why I was just having this conversation too. People that didn't go to college, majority of the people that these millionaires that's popping up everywhere, half of them do not
They go
have
to
college
college.
education.
Nope.
Half of them are still in school. We
Yep.
are talking about junior elementary kids. We're talking about junior high kids, high school kids. They're actually millionaires because
Ain't
their parents say, you know what, you want to do this? I'm going to back you up like Caucasian people do. I'm going to pull out my 401k, my
mm,
IRA, my stock, my bond. I'm going to finance your dream. And these kids are taking off. They're literally billionaires. They're millionaires at a young age. So I'm not
let
saying
me.
education is not key. It is, but
hmm
it's not the weight on education is not like it was 20 years ago.
So I'm gonna break it right. And this is for everyone, and I know it's gonna come back, but this is for everybody that don't have common, right?
That doesn't have what?
And common sense, okay. And what I mean by common sense is being aware of
Yes.
what's going around you and moving and being aware of your moves because you're aware of what's going on
Mm-hmm.
around. Common sense is
Mm-hmm.
not being aware, but yet you still allowing it to dictate. So let's break everything down. The first thing is I want to say is when you said something about not everyone can be a boss, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone uses
Mm-hmm.
everyone says, not every worker can be a boss and everybody uses that as an excuse. But think about it. You going from the bottom,
Yes.
a worker is at the
Yes.
bottom to the tippy top, a boss. So
Mm-hmm.
a boss, but they don't realize a boss is not an owner.
Mm-hmm.
A boss is the
Mm-hmm.
manager. A boss is the
Mm-hmm.
supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's
So
implementing
now we need what?
that's
Go ahead.
implementing plans of the owner.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
not everyone can be an owner.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can be an owner. That doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean that you have to work the business. A, a, an intelligent person creates,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes. Yes.
But an over intelligent person gets someone else to work that business
Mm-hmm.
while they go add on other business. You get what I'm saying? So let's
Yeah.
put it like this. If I wanted to own a Chick-fil-A restaurant, or let's say I wanted to do a restaurant, right? I would do a Nio's chicken and waffle, right? So then I say, I don't want to get tied in to only doing a Nio's chicken and waffle. So what I
Mhm.
would do is I would go talk to Lachette and say, Lachette, you're over there. You always worked in restaurants all your damn, all fast food. Don't you want to be a
Mhm.
boss?
Mm.
Oh yeah. Don't you want to make this
Mhm.
much money? You're doing the same thing, right? You're a manager over there. You get what I'm saying? Come be a manager for me. You'll make more,
Right.
right? So
Right.
now
Right.
Lachey is running my day to day, and I don't got to worry about that. And I gave Lachey a couple extra coins, right? So that way
To
it
monitor.
will outshadow that bullshit, and Lachey will run my business like it's her, right?
Exactly.
Now
Exactly.
I go and build a Nio sporting goods store. I go get a brother over there and say, "Yo, how much you make?" He's like, "Oh, I make 26,000, 30,000 a year." Oh, I would give you not 40. I would give you 45 grand. I'll give you 45,000. That's making 15,000 plus more than you making, right?
Mhm.
To go run my store. Now this
Mhm.
nigga, that's the most money he made in his life. You think he gonna fuck that up? No, he's not.
Mm-mm.
Now he ran in a now I have two businesses that I own that I'm not in charge of. This is
Mm.
called generational wealth. This is how you build it. So when
Mhm.
people when they say, hey, well, I, we don't have the money for it, but they got to understand a dollar from everybody builds up the money, right?
Yes, it does.
Another thing is
Yes, it does.
in between a worker and a boss are a lot of other positions. There,
Yes, it
between
is.
the worker and the owner is a lot of other positions. There's manager, there's supervisor, there's secretary, and blows on blows on blows. There's team lead and
Mhm.
all that other stuff. You do not have to be at the bottom and stay
Mm-mm.
at the bottom because that's not your vision. Your vision is to be self-sufficient.
Mhm.
Your vision should be I shouldn't want to struggle. If I don't have a dream, let me go tag along to someone else's dream and add to their. You get what
Mhm.
I'm saying? If my son want to
Mhm.
be a rapper, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to go and give my son a dictionary. These are words. Look them up, say them, see how you can put them in a rap. Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Now you're getting good. Now let's go to the studio and put it on a beat. Let's go and do this,
Investing.
do that. That's called
Mhm.
investing.
Mhm.
You can't just
Mhm.
say, here's the ball, learn how to dribble, and now you're going to the NBA. Nope. You got to go to camp. You got to put it in. This is your everyday. Oh, you can't play the game. You sacrifice. Without sacrifice, there's no building.
Gotta build.
Common sense ain't common. Think about the school system. Let's break this down. This is a nugget right here. Let's break it down, right? Schools are
That's it.
businesses.
Mhm.
They tell you to get a degree. They got you for not weeks, not months, but years.
Years.
And then tell you, yo, you need to upgrade your degree. So
Mm.
when you upgrade your degree, now I got you for more years, right?
And now you're in
And then
debt.
you come and
Mhm.
tell me now you in the more and more you in debt to me. Now don't pay that
Exactly.
back. Guess what? I can go and put a lien on you. Now I got to lean on multiple people. Why? Because I gave
By
you
the
false hope.
thousands. Exactly.
Tell me. My thing about it is there's a difference, like we always say, there's a difference in education, knowledge, and wisdom. These people that's
Major
being
difference.
millionaires, they have wisdom, they have
Yes, they
knowledge.
do.
They
Yes,
don't
they
need that
do.
education. My thing about
No,
it is
you don't.
the things that you learn in that education, I'm going to tell you. About 60% you might use. That other
Might.
40, you're not. And that's a big mic.
That's a big might. You
That's a big
absolutely
mic.
right.
So
Yes,
it's
it
like,
is.
yo. So my thing about it is you need to figure out first, in order, what makes you happy as being a Nubian person. What makes you happy?
Mm.
What are you
Mm.
here to put? to leave your mark on the world. What are you here for? Where's your purpose? Do you
Mm-hmm.
draw? Do you write? Do you do hair? Do you work out better than everybody else? Or you
Cook.
you know, or yeah, cook anything. These
Mm-hmm.
are your talents. This is something that you love to do. And then what you do is you build with a community that not everybody doing the same as you. But guess what? If you cooking and I sit up there and I can build a kitchen, guess what? Now we have a cook. I build a kitchen. We have a person that can cook in the kitchen. Then let's say
Mm-hmm.
we got a decorator that person can decorate the kitchen. Then now let's say we got a
Mm-hmm.
producer. Now we have a TV show about cooking, and we all making money.
We all making
You
money.
get what? That's how you build.
Mm-hmm.
You all
Mm-hmm.
come together. If you wanted to be a rapper, let's say Marie, you was a rapper, right? You was sitting over there and you was like, yo, I'm gonna be a rapper. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. You came to me and I had a studio
Mm-hmm.
and I'm living for every client that come in. And but you a really great rapper. I would say, yo, this is how we're going to
Mm-hmm.
every month. You're going to give me something, right? You're going to help me towards my bill. So
Okay.
we will go half or whatever. But you can come to the studio anytime you want. And we're gonna work on as many songs we want because guess what? We're gonna make it together. Missy and Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
So when
Mm-hmm.
people say, oh, that don't work, Missy and Timberland did the same thing, right?
Works.
There's a lot of
Works.
producers. Dre and a lot of and NWA did the same thing. You get what I'm saying? There's
Facts.
a lot of
Mm-hmm.
producers.
Mm-hmm.
Kanye West was doing it, but then he started charging people, right? When he started getting it becoming a name, that's when he started charging. But that's cool
Mm-hmm.
because that's when you charge. When you start becoming a
Mm-hmm.
name. But the people that actually help you get it on, those people, no, you don't charge them. Y'all still stay on together. But then, but the
Exactly.
ones that's new, that's who you charge. When you starting to create a business with people, y'all doing it together, you don't act new with those people because that's your core people. That's the people that's in your core. That's the people that's sitting up there and that got you where you need. This is why I laugh at groups that sit over here and they be like, yo, they make it, they will get on and they'll make it together. Then so when they get on together, then oh, I'm the lead singer. I'm Dave Ruffin. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's Dave Ruffin
Right.
and the Temptation. And the Temptation. Like, come on, man.
This ain't nothing
Nah.
without me. I'm the
Exactly.
talent.
And then
Exactly.
guess what? Then
Sad.
y'all all disposable. And there's
And our
always gonna
money
be
is
people
gone.
in your ear. Right. There's always gonna
And
be
our
people
money
in
is
your ear.
gone.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
When you build in
Absolutely.
a community, when you build in a community or you build in a business or you trying to do something great for you, there's always going to be people in your ear that tells you about, oh, you need to leave those people alone. You need to, and there's always be some new people that just started coming around.
And why nobody catch on to that? I don't get
Exactly.
it. It has been happening for history, throughout history, for every dynamic that actually is powerful, that's actually making waves. Is always that
Hmm.
one or two persons that get inside the camp, infiltrate the camp, and nobody sees it. And then all of a sudden we're broken up and nobody's making money anymore. We're not
Exactly.
building anymore. We're not doing anything that's pushing us towards our goal. And where are those very two people that caused the separation?
Right. Because then all they doing is they're being leeches. They're milking the situation. They're milking the system, you know. And we need to stop letting leeches into our community. We need to stop letting leeches into our household. We need to stop letting leeches into our business. People that sitting up there and they have their own alternative motive. They
Yes,
want
they
you to
do.
get rid of people.
Yes,
Anybody
they
that
do.
comes to you with negativity, they're leeches. Because if it, like I tell people, you come to me with an issue, right? And you
Hmm.
don't come to me with solutions, I can't fool you. Because that means that you only want to bring me issues, and I'm dealing with issues, and I got to find solutions for myself, right? And sometimes there's really not issues. You just want those people out of the way. You get what I'm saying? And even if you look at movies, look at Scarface, right? Scarface, he killed his best friend because his best friend slept with him, right? And then at the end,
Yeah.
he was all by himself, every time. But that's how life works. You you have new people, you have these new people to get these old people out of the way, and the next thing you know, you stuck on by your
But here's the thing,
same
they
here.
always go against the strongest one in the group. They always
Hmm.
attack the strongest one. And they're always under the fire. And the fact of the matter is, we're a dynamic. And here's another thing that, and to insert this, I'm sorry, Emperor, it's like for us all being day one, meaning that we were all here together. And
Hmm.
then you're seeing that this person is adamant about this one person. Common sense and kicked in and was like, yo, why are you so adamant about this one? And why are you going against my sister that hard? You know what? It's something
Right.
about you. But nobody comes to that conclusion. You know what? I
Hmm.
am the star. You're right. I do have the most money. It is my ideas. And you feed your ego. So therefore, they know that your ego needed to be fed. And they did that.
Right.
And it caused you to feed so much that it caused you to get over the relationship you had for the person that been with you from day one. And then all
Right.
of a sudden that's breached. And then now they have taken away the strong one that would stop you from making stupid mistakes. And now you're being used. Now you're somebody's thotty now because now they used your and prostituted your talent, and then that strong one is looking like, yo, what happened? And then you
Oh
come back
yeah.
years later like, I apologize, but you should have known that it was an issue because why the attack was on me? Because that person
Right.
know I would have protect you.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's sad too because people don't realize, you know, any small rift that is created in your bond doesn't matter if it's a relationship, it doesn't matter if it's in a group, it doesn't matter if it's in anything that you do. Any small rift can be ripped apart and create a void. And this is how a lot of races keep our people down because they create rift, rift in everything. And we are so not trusting. Like the first thing we'll do is like me, I'm gonna be honest. If I do a crime with someone, right? If I do a crime with anybody, right, and we get caught, I don't care. Like, cause I did that crime. I did it. So my thing is, I'm gonna be like lawyer. I know talk to y'all people ain't gonna help me. It's not gonna help me none. Even if they
No.
said, yo, if you talk to us, we won't arrest you, right? You'll
No.
be you'll be leveled off. We just gonna get your friends that you just. I'm good
No.
because that's who people I did the
No.
crime with. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's my people.
Exactly.
Hey, if they talk. That's your character. Fuck, you know what I mean? I was bad at
Hmm.
choosing character, right? If they can tell if they could tell you that I was already talking and that makes you want to beat me to talking, right? And then you start talking or whatever, whatever. That's your character. That means you didn't even know who the hell I was. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But I tell people all the time, I am not. I would never at all. When you come and talk to me, I want a lawyer. I don't need no need to talk to you. I'm not here to save myself. I know what I did. If you go and do your job and whatever, and I'm caught, I'm caught. So what? If I'm not caught, I'm not caught. So what? But I'm not going to sit over here and the people I rode with, the people I sat up there and decided to do something that I'm going to throw under the bus to save my own ass. No, that's a fucked up individual. And people that think like that, they some fucked up individuals. Because if we're gonna ride all the way. We locked up together, we
Till the
locked up
wheels fall off this month. This
exactly.
is where we
And
at.
that
This is where we at.
and that's where people would tell on their own family to try to get off. And that's fucked up. My thing about
Because
it is
we
like, please, go
we
ahead.
always have been controlled by fear. We have
True.
always been controlled by fear. We are controlled. First of all, when you don't know the law, that's why we always fall into entrapment. That's why you always get into that little room. It's a strategy. If you don't know the law, they can use things against you. You don't even know it. First of all, half
Mm-hmm.
of that stuff be illegal. Second of all,
It is.
if I can play on your fear of taking your freedom away, not knowing your freedom, you never really had freedom in the first place.
Mhm.
Second of all, they're really gonna come against you if you hold your mouth and hold your peace and like I'm not ratting. They respect you at the end though. I couldn't break them, and they literally had these conversations. I couldn't break
Yeah.
him.
But that's what it is. You can watch all the top shows. You can watch all don't, you don't know what you put an emphasis in. Somebody says, I said, "Dude, I'm not that person. You can't hear me. I can honestly gotta tell people like I'm not that person. I'm not that person
Mhm.
that because it's my integrity. I'm not that person that's going to, you know, sit and be like, I'm going to step on you to get a promotion. You know what I mean?
I'm not.
My
I
integrity is
can't do
too
it.
much intact, right?
Exactly.
So a lot of people don't understand it's your integrity. What you do on your everyday, that's who you are. And that's who you have to live with. If you cheat on your wife, if you cheat on your husband, that's you as a person. You're a fucker,
Yeah.
you're a crook. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? The reason why you're a crook is because you like to be deceptive. You can't say, "Well, I cheated because." And yes, there is gray areas where some people can't take it. I get it, but at the end of the day, you have to accept the bullshit that goes with it. If you
It's
steal from
consequences.
someone, yeah, you
Hmm.
can't say, "Hey, I stole from them because they owe me money," but that still make you a thief because
At the end of the day,
you didn't get it honored. Go ahead.
exactly. Exactly.
So
I think
people,
too,
go ahead.
people, I don't think people think in that fashion. And I think that's the
Mhm,
problem. You know what I mean? They don't think
mhm,
outside of a situation. So yeah, I owed you money, but you didn't even give me time to pay you back. But you stole from me. So now you
mhm.
wronged me. You know what I mean?
Right,
But you didn't give me the opportunity to pay you back. But now that you stole from me, now what? Because now it's breached between you and I when we're supposed to be building. So I don't
right,
know. I don't think people think outside of the situation, and that's the problem. Once again, it's that fear factor. I gotta get you before you get me. But
right.
yeah, but what you
And
did was you shot yourself in the foot.
all because you're trying to get something rushed or it wasn't you didn't give it to me with pure intent. Because
Right.
if I let someone borrow money, first of all, I'm not gonna let you borrow money that I don't have. Meaning,
For
if this
first
money
of
needs to
all,
go somewhere, stop. That's what we need to stop doing. If this money needs, I don't care if you're a mother, I don't care if you're a father, I don't care if it's going to your kids, your your brother, your husband, whatever. If this money is going to pay your bill, right? Stop giving this shit away. Stop letting
stop
people
giving it
borrow.
away.
Yeah. If
I
this
don't
the
have
only money
it.
I let borrow, and I tell people this, right? What I do is I do $1,200, literally $1,200 every single year of borrow money, right? And if I still have that $1,200 for next year, that's where it goes. And if it laps over to the next year, that's what the part of that $1,200. That's all I have for people to borrow all year long, right? That's
Hmm.
it. If that shit go to zero, guess what happens? That means don't ask me for shit. That pot is at zero. But you
Don't
went and
ask me
bought.
for
That's my
nothing.
money. I can go and buy that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like nah.
Exactly.
And I'm like this. If your ass borrow money from me, and then you come ask me and borrow some more, nah, nigga, you ain't pay back your own thing. So if you sat over here and borrowed 100, 200, 300, $400 from me, right, and then pay that back, guess what? That right there, that $400 was the check I wrote to tell you leave me the fuck alone.
But here's the
You know what I'm
thing
saying?
too. I think when we get to the point that we're borrowing to that degree, we have to look at your finances and find out what's going on.
Nah, I ain't worried about the finance. That is not my
But we
problem.
are. But wait a minute. But wait a minute, Anayo, because we're talking about rebuilding. We're talking about rebuilding the Royal Ebony standard. So here's the thing. Yeah, it's not your problem, but somebody like me, I'm like, okay, babe, if I was your wife, okay, babe,
Mhm.
the same dude every month is asking for the same amount of money. Something is going on. Let's find out
Family is
what it
different
is.
than people outside the home. Now, people
It doesn't
outside know I
matter.
can
There,
help you build. No, I'm just going to tell you the difference is this is so if it's in my household, right? I'm going to sit over there and we're going to set goals, financial, right, on how to build and how to do this. Now, if it's a friend outside of my house, right, and it goes
hmm
back to what I was saying earlier,
hmm
stop having people around you to sit around here that don't want to build. Because
hmm
if people around you want to build, they will almost mimic you, right? They will say, "Hey, how you do that? How you do this?"
my
The
point.
reason why I say it's not my problem, the reason why I say it's not my problem is I know rule number one. I can take a horse to water, but I can't force it to drink. So
That is
if
true.
you see if you see that I'm doing this and my brother is saying, nah, I just want to blow my money away. I want to go buy these Jordans. That's important to me. You know the people in your life, what's important to them. They're a shopaholic because they depressed. You know what I mean? That's what they do when they're depressed. They just spend money, right? Or some of them just spend money just to spend money. Or some people, it's just like water is like money is like water to them. As soon as it touch their hand, it's gone, right? So then
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm coming to you like, yo, I already know you're handicapped. So I'm not here, and this is anybody around me. I say, yo, this is the avenue, but I'm not gonna force it on you. I'm not here to push you. I'm not here to pull you. I'm here to tell you, and you're gonna walk beside me. If you ain't walking beside me, I would treat you like water, as if rain. It just drips on me and wash off. Because at the end of the day, people people will hold you. This is I know it sounds hard, but you gotta understand one thing. People will stop you from reaching your potential because you're so much entangled up in them and wanting them to be successful that you're missing everything that you're meant to grasp. So you just tell people, go ahead, go ahead.
I agree and disagree. I
Mhm.
agree though that you can't carry people all the time because they can't be an anchor. But also, I also know that some people never had that level of help. So if you don't know that you have an issue, and I'm not talking about these that people that's the people that you just described. I'm talking about people
Mhm.
that really want to get out of that barrel. You know what I mean? And if simple things that you can see what's going on in your finances and they implement that, that's a
Right.
win. That's helping us to
Mhm.
rebuild our Royal Ebony standard, right? But I'm not talking about the
Mhm.
scenarios that you're talking about. And you're absolutely right. Why am I giving you my hard-earned money when you're just throwing yours away on frivolous
Mhm.
things? I'm not talking about that group. I'm talking about actual people that actually have issues and need help on, okay, this is what that is. And no, I'm not going to
Right.
help you pay out your debt all the time, but this is what you're going to do. You're going to cut this, cut that, and cut this. And then you'll see that extra that you keep borrowing from me, it will be there.
Right. That's those
That's what I'm
people.
talking
So
about. That's
that's
that
that's
education.
right. But that's them type of people would still say, yo, how can I fix it? They're not those people that, and this is it makes me laugh sometimes. Because you get those people that be like, oh, I don't normally do this. I don't normally borrow money, man. It's hard for me to ask
Line,
somebody.
push
And
it,
then hold on, but I'm like, nigga, you asked me though. All right,
push
cool.
it.
I
Yeah,
will give you some money,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Boom, you give them money, and then guess what? You don't. They'll never say, hey, let me pay you back. They'll never say, hey, I don't have that whole amount, but I want to give you these installments. This is my first installment. They'll never say, they come and borrow money from you again. And I'm like, whoa, this time seemed easy. Why is it so easy for you to borrow money from me now? I thought you don't normally borrow money. You know, so people need to understand that. People need to understand that. It's like, how can I say? It's a problem that they get so comfortable in being in this situation. You get what I'm saying? They get so comfortable with being, hey, let me just give me a fist instead of teaching me how to. They get in this thing of it's easier. Are you gonna let me borrow money or not? No, I'm not.
First
You
of
know what I mean?
all, take all the
Because I don't
aggression out the
have.
back of your throat.
First of all, I tell people as is, I say this: if 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 you don't have the money to work off of me, right?
Yeah.
because not everybody's going to have the means to do. But my thing is, if you don't want to do that, right? If you don't want to do that, that means you don't intend on giving me money back anyway. You just want to take from me. And everybody
Yeah.
know the people in their lives that they just take. I had talked with a woman about a situation. She was like, "Yo, I don't ask people for nothing," and I'm like, "Well, you have help, right?" And she was just like, "No, I'm not going to accept your help." I said, "All right, cool." And me, I'm an understanding person. I know I can't pull you, and I know I can't push you, right? My thing about it is, I'm sitting over here, like, okay, cool. So when you want to talk about, the problems that you have, I'm like, I don't care. And they be like, but why don't you care? Why don't you want to listen? Because I told you I can help you, and you did not help. So I don't care. Let's talk about something else. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to
Yeah.
fix those problems. You can't say you want to fix those problems, but yet there's people that will help you with that, with those issues, or at least give you a little bit of help or incentives or whatever. You don't want to accept. So I don't want to talk about that. Better yet, while you calling me, I'm not going to answer because I know when you call me, it's going to be a problem. We all have
Here's
those
the
people. Oh,
Hmm.
before you say that, I want to say this one. We all have those people in our lives where we know when we don't have no money, or we don't have no babysitter, or we doing without. We know we ain't got nobody. But why you have these people in your life that always asking for from you? Why are they? But you can't ask from them. Why you have them in your life? Why you have them in your circle? Why you have them in a position to take from you and you get nothing from them? That's a bad
And you get
investment.
nothing. And you get nothing. I think that see that's a slippery slope too because yeah, I normally don't ask or no, I don't want you to help me. It's pride before the fall. Is that how that goes? So it's like your pride won't allow you to receive help, but you have a genuine person telling you that I can help you. But yet and still you're still in this situation. And it's because in time past, um, asked for help and then it turned out to be the worst thing I ever did because you wouldn't let it die. But if you have somebody that's genuinely like, look, I hear your problem and this is what I'm willing to do, and they're not willing to take that, at that point, you're right. I have to cut you loose because you don't want a solution and you don't really want help. You want me to listen to your side story, but I'm not understanding what else you want me to do. But listen, okay, then you should say, I just want you to listen. That's all I need from you, Anayo. I don't want you to help me, just listen. Or better yet, if you see something that I could do different in this situation, please educate me. I don't want you to think that I'm coming to you with my hands out. And a lot of women don't. And a lot of women are going to do that because they know who you are. You see what I'm saying? And they already know in your head, a lot of people are already like this to you. And I don't want you to think that I'm here doing this. I just want a solution. Give me a solution. And like I said, it's a slippery slope, but I'm not about to bear all my heart to you and you tell me you can help me and I'm like, no, I'm good. Because what was the
Right.
point? And then on
But
that, if you didn't offer me help, I'll be looking at you like, what type of man is he? Now, that's crazy.
but that's why, mm, especially Nubian people, we need to be in each other's lives, not for anything, but just continue, right? Because one thing for sure, obstacles going to happen. We're going to always have obstacles. We're going to always have issues, right? In each other's lives. So with that being said, we need to be like, yo, if I'm going to be in your life, I don't care if it's a friend, I don't care if it's a lover, I don't care if it's just like an acquaintance or whatever. You're in my life. Why
Yeah.
can't I be like, yo, I got you? I might not. You might need $100, and I might got 10 or 5 on them, but that's all I got. You know what I'm saying? That's something. You get what I mean? But this ain't all I need. I ain't got. You gotta appreciate what you can give. Or you might sit up there and say, yo, I can't take off work, but what I can do is, well, you do a nice job. bring your kids over, let me keep the house, you know what I'm saying? Just make sure, you got to go to work. You got all day, right? Yeah, you got to get your
Mm,
sleep. Guess what?
mm,
Wake up earlier, make dinner for them, fix them some food so they won't eat up my food. You know what I'm saying? That way
yeah.
you ain't taking from me. And all I'm doing is watching your show. So we have to be considerate about when we ask them help. Yeah, sometimes we're like, oh, some people are they like using you, so we don't want to ask for help. But my thing about it is everybody knows there's a difference between you accepting help and you becoming a user. You becoming a user meaning that you're just in that position to take because it's there, not because you
Mm,
need it. You're taking because it's there with no intent on returning anything. You know
mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So we have to go get in our system where we're all purpose. Our relationship is forming purpose around each other. This won't be my final thing, but we going our relationship has to form purpose. It has to be a give and take for each other.
Yes.
We have to
Yes.
stop trying to be in these relationships. We have to stop building these relationships with each other that is just one sided. And that's how we rebuild our trust in each other. That's how we rebuild our respect in each other. When it comes to Nubian men, we need to sit up there and hold ourselves accountable. We need to have our integrity intact when it comes to our women. We need to respect
Absolutely.
our women. If
Mm-hmm.
we want respect, we have to respect our women at all times. Our women always say one thing: we don't like looking stupid out in the street, so we have to stop making them look stupid out in the street. So we have
Yeah.
to own that. We got to own. We have to sit here and start doing panels and sit
Yeah.
there and take what their fears are and where their hurt and pain and accept that. As Nubian women, y'all need to do the same thing. Y'all have to sit there and take our hurt and our pain and where they're coming from and accept that. And then what you
Yeah.
do on both ends, you do better. You say, all right, y'all said this, y'all said that. This is not
Mm-hmm.
what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to go any. There's no reason. Well, she didn't give me head last night, so I'm going to go do this. So the fuck what? Respect that woman at all costs. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, he did, so I don't have to respect him because he ain't. I'm making more money. So the fuck what? Respect that man at all costs.
You're right.
So
That's
it's
so
just.
temporal.
So, hmm Go ahead.
Money is so temporal. I don't. Here's my thing, and women fall into this, and I don't know why, and I think it's because we're still struggling for control. We're still struggling for acknowledgement. Just because you make more money than him does not denounce his manhood. Does not denounce him as the provider of the household. You make more than him does not mean you're the only one making it. And I think it takes a mature woman to be like, you know what? I'm not trying to castrate you as a man. At the end of the day, we're to be partners, whether I make the most or not. But let's talk about how we're going to divide this so that it's fair to you and I, and still run this household. But never because I'm making more does not mean that I have the right to run this household. No, because you're still my head. You're still my husband. You're still my man. I still have to respect you. Now, now you're looking at me. Well, what type of woman are you that because you make a couple of more dollars, you feel as though that you could stand in a man's place? I don't care how much you spend make. You can never stand in a man's place. You can provide, but you're not providing as a man would. You're just providing, not trying to piss on what you're doing, but we that's a dangerous situation to go into because are you trying to take on a masculine energy? Are you trying to take his place? Because making more money does not make you equal to a man at all. It just means that you can provide. That's it. And not even provide more. Just because you make more money doesn't mean you know how to manage that money. That man may know how to manage that money and make that money double. So we got to be careful about the things that, not saying that she's not going to be able to. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying just because you make more doesn't give you the right to castrate him or to put him in timeout as if he's 5 years old. He's still a man. And the men that I know, even though if I was making more, they were going to get two jobs to equal to what I'm making. So you won't
So
have that conversation.
my thing is stuff, right? When you say that our Nubian women, want us- our men, and when they so it's something that you said that stuck with me. When you said that you want like our Nubian women want our men to our Nubian men to acknowledge, right? And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, yeah, but our men acknowledge them. Our
Mm,
men acknowledge our women. We always did. Every single day, we acknowledge our women. When we pass, hold on, this hear me out. Every single day, we acknowledge our women.
mm,
Either it's your body, it's your energy, like it's
mm,
your shine. We acknowledge
mm,
it. There's not
mm.
one day that I guarantee you walk out in the street that a man ain't looking at you and saying something or saying,
But I don't mean
"Hey,
nothing if
beautiful."
it's not my main one.
Hold on. See what I mean? See what you did? You said that don't mean nothing, but you're being acknowledged because there's our Nubian women had no choice but to be acknowledged because you glow. You have a glow about you. You have a shine about you. This is why other races want to take them shine. This is why other races want to marry you. See, why Caucasian and every other race marry Nubian men because they have money, not because they're look. They marry them
True,
because what they provide.
true.
Other races marry our women because y'all glow. They don't
Mm,
marry y'all because of money. They marry because y'all shine, because y'all prosper in life,
mm-hmm,
as in beauty, as in wisdom.
mm-hmm,
You get what I'm saying? As in
mm-hmm.
knowledge, as in being Mother Nature. This is
Because we
why
are
they,
mother of
they,
the
they
earth.
try to pick right, but this is why they keep y'all on. But this is another reason why we still over here in the knowledge too. So when our women say we don't acknowledge, we acknowledge everything we get. Now there's some out there that don't, but in our in our field, in our community, our women pay more attention to the ones that don't acknowledge them than the ones that do.
But the one that's
They
not that
pay
we're
more,
looking for acknowledgement for is the one that we're actually in a relationship with. Not
but
all
but then
men.
you gotta, but then that's self accountability because these are the type of men. Because a lot of time our women date the same man. He might look
So I
different,
do.
but it's the
That's
same
both
men.
ways.
It
It's
is
both
both ways.
ways.
But
Men
you want
and
to know what
women
the but you want to know
have a
what the
type,
thing about it is?
and that's what they are attracted to.
But do you want to know what the thing about it is? My type was selfish women that thought about
It's what?
themselves, like selfish women, meaning like just like you said, I spoil people. I do. That's my job. My job is to spoil you, but it's not your job to just take on being spoiled and then say, I don't have to give people because then sooner or later I become starved. And once
Yeah.
I'm starved, then I start, contemplating on the situation and saying, is this the right situation for me? I'm not getting anything.
Mhm.
I'm not getting anything from it. What am I getting? So if I'm getting zero from it, I might as well move and start over. I might
Exactly.
as well sabotage, whether it's leave or just say fuck the situation because I'm not getting anything from it to keep me staying. So my thing
Exactly.
is, when it comes to our men dating our women, we need to replenish our partner. You can't
Exactly.
go in there thinking, I'm just going to take, they'll be all right. Because sooner or later, they won't. And they're going to be like, yo, I'm out of here. Or they're just going to
Exactly.
sabotage the situation. And you're just going to be dating a shell of a person. There's a lot of Nubian relationships where it's a shell of a person dating. They've been married for years, just a shell of a person. You've been
That's
married to a
true.
shell.
That's so true.
So
So
we
true.
have to stop that and rebuild the love. We have to build the love back in with each other, just so we can build the love back in with our kids
Community.
and build that standard. We have to build that
Mm-hmm.
standard with each other and in ourselves, and that's called accountability. You can't go. It's easy to say this person was wrong. This person done wrong by you, but it's harder to say I done wrong by this person, and I could be better by doing this. Self accountability before you point at anyone. How can you? What are you doing to rebuild the community? When you go and say we don't got any black leaders anymore, yeah. What are you doing to be a leader in yourself for your community?
Mm,
Stop depending on
mm,
other people. When you say, oh, black family, ain't like this. What are you doing to help aid the black family to say, yo, I'm doing my part to be a good man or a good woman?
mm-hmm.
What are you doing before you pointing and casting stones out? What are you doing to help the community? What are you doing to help? And if the answer is nothing, then you need to start doing something. You need to start saying, yo, this is what I need to do to help my community, to help my family, to help my children. Because guess what? We have children looking at everybody, including you. And guess who they want to grow up to be? You. Whether you're a slout
Hopefully. Mm-hmm.
or you're a boss.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not hopefully. They grow up wanting to be people that they see. And if they don't see anybody that's good, they want to be with the people that think is good. Look at it. Back in the 90s, I look at drug dealers and I'd be like, yo, these little kids want to be these drug dealers. But they don't realize and see, even though I'm a kid myself, they don't see that these drug dealers are hustling for N1s. You know what I'm saying? They hustle for Air Ones and Chinese food and maybe Jersey because that's what was in at the time. Air Ones and Jersey. So Air Ones, Chinese food, and Jersey. That's what you
Telling your
hustling every day.
age.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Right.
So,
Just tell
so,
your
but
age.
it's like you ain't really doing nothing.
Right.
What are you? You ain't. You don't have no in game goals. So my thing is, we have to show our kids how to be a good man, a great man, a phenomenal man. How to show our kids how to be a great woman, a phenomenal woman that says, "Yo, I can stand by my man,
Mm.
even whether
Mm-hmm.
I'm with him or not." Because guess
Mm-hmm.
what? I stand by my women, by my
Mm-hmm.
Nubian women, whether I know them or not. It's not about who you know. It's about, yo, you share the same skin as me. So I look out for you and make sure that you're okay.
Mm.
I would be damned if I see a man come around and want to hit you or anything like that. I will protect you
And that's
because
vice
you're my
versa.
Nubian woman. And that
Exactly.
this is what we need to do with each other. When we
Mm-hmm.
see our kids, I don't care if it's a cop. Let a cop punch a damn a Nubian kid and I'm around. I'll fuck that cop up. I'll put everything on the line to protect that child. And that's what we need to do to hold the standard of protection. Because once we start
Exactly.
doing that and start saying, yo, I want to fight you because you hitting that woman or you hitting that man and that man ain't fighting you. You get what I'm saying? And yo, we gonna fight you. Everybody around that scene is gonna fight you and beat your ass. And guess what? They're gonna stop hitting them because they know if they hit one of us, all of us gonna
Consequences.
jump. You get
Exactly.
what I'm saying? And that should be
Exactly.
anywhere. That should be a standard. And that's how you protect your people by saying, yo, we putting everything on the line for ours. Whether they right, wrong, or whatever, we're gonna protect them to make sure that they not coming in lumped up or dead. We're not going to just film and say, "Oh, that ain't right." No, I'm going to show you that ain't right. So if that's not how you want to be treated, then don't treat us that way. So yeah, that's
That's
fine.
true. Oh, okay.
Okay,
My final.
okay.
Okay. Okay then. I think for me, my final word, and as far as us rebuilding the standard first and foremost, and I always say that, and always going to say this, we have to educate ourselves. We have to detox from what we know to be true. We have to embrace our children and teach them things that we weren't taught, what we just coming into now. And in order for them to get it, to be able to implement it into our community, we are all that we have. It does not take a lot to make a community. And start looking into educating your own children. Start teaching them a trade. Start teaching them a skill that's going to cause them to have a livelihood when you're long gone. You got to give them something in order to make something. And it's just that simple. At the bottom line, like you always say, we are all that we have. This is it. And like I said, a community doesn't mean that we have to have 20 people. It can start with 3 people. But we have to start. Enough talking, time to implement. And that's my final word.
And we need to stop, wanting to undermine something. We
Yes,
need to stop undermining. We need to stop that manipulation. We need to stop sitting over here thinking that, oh, well, they doing something and I want to do something better. Because they're tactical war, the number one tactic and strategy that will always win is dividing. And sometimes we willingly divide ourselves and
that's
don't
true.
realize that we get conquered 24/7. We need to stop the division. We have
Right.
one common goal, and that's to build a community of unity. And we become self-sufficient, and we have
Hmm.
peace.
That's
There,
true.
there should be nothing more important than nothing.
Nothing.
Everybody, 99% of of our Nubian people that's out there have zero generational wealth.
That's true.
There's only 1% of our people that have generational wealth.
That's true.
And and it's sad. And this is of our people. So we need to stop getting out of that. Oh, this is a priority. That's a priority. That's a priority. And everything that we are prioritizing, don't bring no money back home that your kids can't use. Your kids can't split your Jordan. Why you got a whole daggone wall in your bedroom of Jordans inside a container or whatever. That shit not cool, dude. It's cool to say, hey, I'm going out here and I'm buying sneakers. Cool. But you should also have your money and say, yo, let me open up some CDs for my kids. So when they
Hmm.
hit 18, they have some money.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? You got a child that's
Hmm.
born, right? You got taxes, you got $1,000, put it in a CD for your child. By the time they turn 18, guess what? They will have a little money to start life with. That's a gem.
Yeah.
That's a gem for everybody that don't know. And if your child is 7 years old and you starting late, but hey, it's never too darn. It's never too late to start. Do
Right.
something to get back to your kids. Them flat screens, TVs ain't giving back to your kids. It like yo, prioritize what you need in your life.
That's true.
Without sacrifice, there's no growth.
Man,
And a lot of us live in a life without sacrifice. We don't
that is true.
sacrifice nothing. And then we be sitting up there realizing why we ain't growing. Because you ain't sacrificing nothing. If you
That's
want to make
right.
it to the NBA, that means you got to sacrifice those parties and going out to hang with your friends and do nothing. If you
Right.
want a good relationship, that means you got to sacrifice some of your friendships because they toxic as hell. You know what I'm saying? You got to sacrifice going out with your single friends and because you're married now or you're in a good relationship. You know, I'm not saying that you can't go with them, but guess what, dude? You going out with them all the time. Guess who you gonna start thinking like? Your single friend. You know,
Exactly.
so we need to understand that sacrifice when it's coming down to building our community is needed.
Mm,
Sacrifice meaning we need to stop listening to that trash ass music that ain't got nothing to do with nothing but killing our people, having sex
degrading.
and talking to, and degrading, right? Oh, is
Hmm.
you 45 years old holding money to your ear, nigga? What assets do you have? What properties do you have? But you got money to your ear, but you don't own shit. You know what I mean? The
Mm,
standard must change. And I need
mhm.
to stop before I keep going. But that's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
Thank you for watching. You're like, okay.